Good morning, this is Send 7 World News in 7 minutes. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Today is Wednesday, the 29th of May, 2024. Starting in Europe today, Ireland, Norway and Spain all formally recognised the existence of a state of Palestine yesterday. Out of 193 member states of the United Nations, 145 now recognise the state of Palestine. Speaking in Parliament yesterday, Irish Prime Minister Simon Harris said that you cannot have a two-state solution without two states.
You cannot have a two-state solution without two states. We have long recognised the State of Israel and its right to exist in peace and security within internationally agreed borders. Today we say we equally recognise the State of Palestine and its right to exist within internationally agreed borders. So I want to conclude today by reiterating my statement from last week to the people of Palestine. In the West Bank, in Gaza, in refugee camps, in Ireland, those who join us in the Dáil today, around the world, we here in Ireland, we see you, we recognise you, we respect you, and today Ireland formally recognises the State of Palestine.
Speaking in a televised address in Spanish and English yesterday, Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez said that Spain was recognising a unified Palestinian state, which includes the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, with East Jerusalem as its capital.
The state of Palestine must be viable, with the West Bank and Gaza connected by a corridor, and with East Jerusalem as its capital, and must be unified under the legitimate government of the Palestine National Authority.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was in Belgium yesterday. Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo pledged military aid of almost €1 billion for this year and promised to deliver 30 F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine by 2028, with the first ones arriving this year. NATO head Jens Stoltenberg has said that NATO allies should remove restrictions placed on the weapons they give to Ukraine to allow Ukraine to hit targets in Russia. The death toll from a Russian missile strike on a construction shop in Kharkiv on Saturday has risen to 18 people. Africa. South Africa holds its general election today. 28 million people are registered to vote in over 23,000 polling stations. Opinion polls suggest that the ruling African National Congress Party may lose the majority that it has held for the last 30 years since the end of the apartheid system. Today has been declared a public holiday in order for the election to take place. In Zambia, millions of people are facing hunger because of drought, according to the Environment Minister Collins Ndzovu. Ndzovu has said that maize crops have failed this year because of a lack of rain. A shortage of water has also led to power cuts because most of Zambia's electricity is produced by hydroelectricity, and the lack of water has meant that production has halved. Asia. In Taiwan, there were protests outside Parliament yesterday as Parliament passed changes which give Congress more power and give the President less power. Taiwan's Parliament has more opposition Kuomintang members than members of the Democratic Party of President William Lai. Some protesters said that the changes were pro-China. In Lebanon, there was fighting between protesters and police outside the Egyptian embassy yesterday. The protesters blame Egypt for not helping Palestinians in Gaza, for not opening the border crossing between Gaza and Egypt, and for not allowing humanitarian aid into Gaza. In Bangladesh and eastern India, cyclone Ramal has killed at least 23 people. In Bangladesh, large areas of farmland have been flooded. In western India and Pakistan, there is a heatwave, with temperatures reaching 50 degrees this week. The Indian state of Rajasthan has reported 9 deaths that are suspected of being related to heat. South Korea released video yesterday which it said showed a failed North Korean attempt to launch a military satellite which ended in an explosion. In Mexico, 36 political candidates have been murdered during the past year, according to a study by the New York Times. Out of those 36, the New York Times said that organized crime groups were involved in 28 of them. The favorite to win the presidential election next month, Claudia Sheinbaum, has said that she will reduce Mexico's murder rate by 2027 by doubling the number of federal investigators and increasing the number of National Guard police. The United States has announced changes to help Cuban small businesses. The US Treasury Department has said that small businesses in Cuba will be able to open US bank accounts from Cuba and access internet-based services like payment sites, authentication services, video conferencing, and social media. The US has maintained a trade embargo against Cuba since 1962, however, some restrictions have been lifted. And giving children peanut products from a young age cuts the risk of developing a peanut allergy, according to new research. Pediatric researchers at King's College London found that babies who ate peanut paste or peanut snacks from 4 to 6 months old were 71% less likely to develop a peanut allergy by the time they were 13. Peanut allergies have become much more common in Western countries in recent decades, especially for people with eczema. Professor Gideon Lack recommends that all children are introduced to peanuts at 4 months old. A big thank you to Eriko in Japan and Vincent in France for becoming our newest supporters. If you enjoyed this podcast and would like to have access to the transcripts that we write every day and our weekly news quiz that I write each week, then you can become a supporter at send7.org. I'm Stephen Devincenzi. Tomorrow you will be with Juliet Martin. Have a great day.